Oh, okay. I never knew.
Yeah. All right. Unless you want to update something that I would just do. Just renew it through the by sending the old one back. All right. Now you got to change that legal status. You got to do a name correction, i.e., you see I got my name in all caps to Akeem Barber. File a name because anything in all caps is considered a corporation or entity that they can do business with. You don't want to be seen like that. So what you do is file a name change petition in your county or a county that is easy to get this done. So it's not ideal all the time to go to your county because you might have jerks over there who give you problems. So people have been successful going into another county and getting it done. All right. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. You create a trust. You create a grantor trust. This trust will process 1041 recoupments. Will process the 1041 recoupments process. I could have wrote that a little differently. So the grantor trust is the trust that's going to be doing the 1041s to support the 1099s that you send into the IRS. Okay? So, and these are the trusts you're going to have. You're going to have a family trust. The grantor trust is the first one. The family trust. This trust will conduct all commerce. This is the trust that you're going to be putting your lights in, your bills in, all of these things so that you can turn around a 1099. Now, a lot of people in the first year, you have been transacting as the social through all of your affairs. So in that first year, it's a little more complicated to get it done, but it can be done because you got to show the relationship between the social and the trust, and you got to do some things to get that done. When Al gets on, that's his expertise. He's the man. Al is the certified CPA. He's the one who does all of these things. He handles all of those. If you were to go through the process that I teach or we teach, he's the one who's going to get it done for you so that you can get your bills paid. All right. You're gonna have to process your own 1099s. And we show you that at the beginning of the year because that's when you're supposed to process 1099s. You're not supposed to be doing 1099s all year round. It is only that first 45 days of the year. And some of those have to be in the within the first 30 days of the year. Okay? So trust, grantor trust. That's to do the 1041. I tell you what, if you don't believe you're special, just trust what I just said. You are special. You are the divine manifestation of God himself. That's why I keep saying you only have one job. One job. And it's not working at someone's job. It's not filling out applications to become employed by someone else. That's not your one job. It's not, I got to do all these things so I can take care of myself. That's not the one job. It's not it. See, before I tell you what your one job is, I have to show you how you got here. Because through religion, through education, through social programming, social manipulation, media manipulation, and deception, you were made to believe that you have to do certain things in order to be successful. When you got here, you was already successful. You already had it all. Think about it, right? In the Bible, they had what you call the prodigal son, right? He had it all, right? And then one day he decided, I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna go hang out. Pops, give me my bread and let me go do my thing. You do your thing, I'm gonna go do my thing. So he disconnected from the source of having it all and went somewhere else where the funds he had was limited. First of all, he didn't have the mindset to even hold on to it. He blew it. He did all kinds of things, right? I won't go into all of the gory details. Then he woke up one day. He came to himself. He woke up one day and said, wait a minute. I can go back to the source where there is all, everything's there. But I'm going to go this time as a servant because I know I don't deserve to come in as the son because I was disrespectful. I did not appreciate what my father had set up for me. So he went back to the father and said, oh, Papa, I want to be back here and I'll come as a servant. Just let me come back. And Pop said, what? Are you kidding me? I'm going to allow my son to live like a servant? See, my love and my provisions don't run out. And because they don't run out, you can always come back. As long as you realize that this is the source of everything for your existence. This is everything for you. And it doesn't run out. See, what the social structures have done is made you think of lack instead of abundance. Made you think that you have to have this. You got to measure up. Take these tests. Think about it. 12 years of taking tests have taught you only one thing: how to be afraid to fail, how to be afraid to not measure up. So you're so concentrating on what you don't want, which is the failure, which actually is what gave you the failure, because you just was thinking about what you don't want. This goes back to you only have one job. Whenever you think, I need that, it's always a struggle to go get the need. But with the wants, there's no struggle there. It's work, yes. Because what you'll do is you'll become singular in your mindset and you'll get rid of a lot of stuff just to get that one. Trust me. When you have problems, and they could be extreme, that is a great opportunity for you to really practice transcending that situation and work out not allowing it to bring you down consciously. That's the mission. That's the mission, to be able to navigate all of the challenges of this world that it may bring you and still be able to walk over it like Christ walked on water. Still be able to allow yourself to be sacrificed for the good of mankind. I'm not saying go allow people to nail you to a stake or anything like that. What I'm saying is, spiritually, even though these people, you might feel from a fleshly level that they deserve condemnation, you cannot condemn. Because once you don't allow yourself to pass judgment on them for their wrongdoing, and you look at it as simply as, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. And honestly, so people are so indoctrinated into the opposer mindset, into the devil mindset, that what they do, although it may be wrong to some and most people, they really don't see it as wrong. They really can't see it because their mind is so clouded in that vibration that in that world they feel justified. You just so happen to be a casualty of their ignorance to their true divinity. Peace, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Inspiration Sunday with Hakeem. Today is November the 24th, 2024. Month is done. I mean, this week is a holiday week. It's a Thanksgiving week for many who celebrate Thanksgiving holiday. I hope all of you are traveling and planning on spending time with family. Travel safe, and I hope it all goes well. It should, as long as we stay in our place and not try to change people to think like we do. We have to keep in mind that, it's, turn the music down here. What we see in our thoughts is our own thoughts. How we see things and how we want to experience things is just that. It's our unique experience. The trouble with the world is we try to make people be the way we see them, or what we think they should be in our mind. Said the audio is low. Hang on. How is that? Is that better? Let me turn this up. I know something was going on with my audio. DJ Beast Thunder said the audio is low, but I turned it up. How's that? Is that better? Let's see. Let's try this channel. How's that? That better? All right. Sometimes it be just one person having issues and then you think it's everybody, but I only got one person saying it's low. But anyway, I know some audio settings had changed up on me. I hadn't done anything. And I went in here, I had to reset some things. I don't know how it gets changed out on me like that. How it just switches up. But anyway, the ideas or the thoughts in our mind are just that, ours. And for us to assume or even try to make someone fit our narrow thinking, which it is narrow, much as we would love to believe that we have this expanded consciousness, this elevated thought process than others, sometimes we get arrogant and we think like that. And we have to remind ourselves the amount of knowledge that I have personally at this age is a fraction. It's probably barely touching the surface of what knowledge that is yet to be gained or learned. So when we start to project what we have in our mind onto others, we have to stop and think, this is just my perspective. And if I really want to change the world, if I really want to make some drastic changes of the world, first I have to change myself. I have to be willing to learn. I have to be willing to go and do some research. I have to be willing to burn that midnight oil and stay up late and research things. Because when we really look at, I know at one point in my life, my knowledge was really based off what I got off the news, based off something what someone said, not something I went and researched and came up with a conclusion. And research is not just reading one book and then you got the answer. No, researching is getting opposing topics on that subject, as well as getting things that support your current belief, looking at it from all sides. So really, I remember when I had experience and realized that I didn't know everything that I thought I knew, when I had this big explosion in my mind that wait a minute, everything I don't really know a whole lot here. Everything is based off of what someone pushed in front of me and said, hey, this is the truth. I had to really, one night I was studying and I was actually looking at this site called The Reluctant Messenger. You know, I don't even remember how I came across this site, but it was like I was looking for something, then I stumbled upon this, and I started to read this story of this young student being taught by a master, and he was asking questions about the world, about religion, and the teacher was teaching him that all religions have truth. They're part of a bigger puzzle. None of them is all right and none of them is all wrong, right? And the perspective he was coming from and teaching, it really took me down this deep rabbit hole. And what it did was it forced me to look at things like Judaism. I'd studied Christianity all my life, so I started with looking at other things: Judaism, Hinduism. What's the other one? There's others. I even looked at what they called witchcraft. I looked and studied those things, and that's when I looked at it. I got the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Sounds ominous, Egyptian Book of the Dead. Then I read this Egyptian Book of the Dead, and wait a minute, this book is older than this, but it's basically saying the same thing as this book that I grew up learning, which is the Bible. It was worded differently, but it was basically sending the same message. And then I looked at the other ones. I said, well, they all saying the same thing. But why did I demonize witchcraft? Why did I demonize these other religions in my mind? Why did I oppose them? Because someone told me they were not good to read. Don't read that stuff. You'll get possessed. You'll get demons coming after you. Yo, think about it. When you grow up especially in the Christian faith, They tell you not to touch or even look at these things because you'll get controlled by these things and you'll become possessed and they'll take over your life and the devil will get in and he'll do all kinds of havoc on your life, right? And you get nervous, you get scared. You don't want to, because they said beware. But at that point in my life, I had so many things going wrong. I was like, well, what else could go wrong by me looking at this stuff? So it's already bad. Like what? So I went in and I started, wait a minute. And here's the funny thing. When I was going in and at first, when I opened up a book, which was called Considered Witchcraft, I was like, oh man, it was like going into a house, a spooky house, and it looks spooky on the outside. It's got all these unfamiliar symbols on it. I'm painting a picture, all these, and you're like, oh, okay, you're about to do this. They don't warn you. You're going to get possessed. You're going to get all this. Then I open up the book, and I'm like, oh, I'm nervous starting to read the first few paragraphs. And then they're talking about earth, the elements, earth, wind, fire. What's the other one? Earth, wind, fire, water. The 4 elements. That's the whole foundation of what they call witchcraft or Wiccan. It's about the elements and how they operate and how they control and in teaching you how you can tap in and manipulate these things, right? To a degree. I'm like, where's the demons at? So I'm reading through this and then I put that down and I started reading other stuff and I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Because I remember a book in Revelations where there's these angels of the 4 corners of the earth, and one is holding back the wind, one is holding back the water, one is holding back the fire, and one is holding back the earth. But wait a minute. This is saying the same thing or in the same line as what I've been learning about through the Bible, but it's just coming from a different perspective. Whereas the Bible personifies a lot of the teachings, like they give Christ, he's a personification. He's someone in human form who performed these great acts of miracles. And they say he healed, but from my readings of the Bible, he didn't heal anybody. They healed themselves through their belief that they could be healed. If you look at some of the stories, like the lady just walked up to him. He didn't say to her, you're healed of your blood issue. She believed and she touched and she was healed, right? Then that centurion whose daughter was sick, and he said, you don't have to come to my house. You could do this from right here. And then Jesus said, man, no one has ever shown such great faith. So it was his belief that it was his idea in his consciousness that the Christ could heal his daughter from where he was. And the blind man who, he said, what do you see? He couldn't see anything. Then he said, as his faith got stronger, he could see better. Pay attention to all of the healing stories. And then after all of the healings, most of the ones when he directly was a part of the healing, he said, don't tell anybody. Why you don't tell people? Because they're gonna make you believe something. Oh, he's like the religious leaders say, he's healing in the name of Beelzebub. They just saw a great act that they couldn't even accomplish, but they had to find some way to demonize that. So the point I'm trying to make, religion demonizes other religions to keep members. Let's when we break it all down, right? They demonize other people's faith to keep their membership strong. It's a form of control. Because how can you even look down on something you know nothing about? I'm not saying go study the stuff and do all the stuff I did. What I'm saying is, on a journey of elevating your mind, you have to take all what God created and look at it. Because it says all things is for the benefit. All things. It didn't say all things meaning just Christianity. It said everything. Because I see people thriving in these other religious schools of thought just as much as people are thriving in Christianity. Because why? It's all about the individual's consciousness. It's not the religion that saves, it's the individual that saves themselves. It's their individual walk, how they see things, what they decide to do with the information that they are learning. See, if we could go every Sunday and just listen to some guy speak to us, or woman, just to be fair, preaching to us and say, oh, that's it. No. Everybody's coming from their own perspective. Me, I'm coming from my perspective based off my life experiences, and I share them. What I only encourage you to do is get your own experiences. This is the only way you can know the truth. The only way to change the world, your individual world, is to change yourself. And I can't see no better way is to seek knowledge and have fun at it too. See, some people just are not happy with learning new things. They're comfortable staying in the place that they are, because when you start to learn new truths, it requires action. It convicts you to say, wait a minute, look at where I'm at now. This is where something has to change for me to get different results. So people mask their, or they procrastinate or hesitate to learn new things, so they create distractions through entertainment, things that entertain them. Someone sent me a video of somebody about the educational system in this country, that the average person coming out of high school going into college have not even read 6 books their entire school career. 6 books. And I would have to say that has a lot to do with the devices, the distraction of devices. They've been given things to watch and instead of reading. So I now we have the at our disposal audiobooks. I prefer reading something over listening to it. I'll listen, if I'm on a long drive, I'll listen to something, but it's something about reading a book that gives you more insight to what the book is saying than listening to someone read that book. When you're actually actively taking your eyes, laying it on the paper and moving it, I think it's a training to it. I grew up reading books. I read a lot of books. But today we're gonna read something from a book that I've been talking about off and on for the past weeks. Neville Goddard's collection. The Neville Goddard collection is page 702, lesson 4. No one to change but self. See, in order for your world to change, you have to change. Somehow there's a disconnect between people wanting change, but they want things outside of them to change, but they're not willing to change themselves. They're not willing to sacrifice bad habits or get rid of bad habits or get rid of certain habits. I wouldn't even say bad, certain habits that are preventing them from moving in the direction that they really say they want to be in. And I use that word, I emphasize say, because I talk to people and they say they want to quit their job. They hate their job, and they say all of these things. But when they were given the opportunity to get rid of the job, they didn't go for it. And I used to be I used to be someone who wanted to help people. When they tell me, and I believe them. They want something different, I believe them. And I start, hey, here's some ideas to kind of, because I know how it is. It's rough trying to transition from something that you're used to doing into something new. I know that. I've been there. It took me a while. So I try to, and I know that there's not much people out there, many people, who will encourage you to make changes, drastic changes in your life. People will help you do things that'll destroy you willingly. Like, people will help you destroy your own relationship because they don't have a relationship. People will help you destroy your own finances because their finances are screwed. They'll help you in those things. And they do it in very subtle ways. But when you talk about, hey, I want to elevate myself and maybe start a new business and become this multimillionaire, stuff like that, oh, they'll help, but they'll help you destroy that idea by giving you every negative option that you have at your disposal to kind of prevent you from going in that direction. You sure want to, you got them benefits, you got the 401k, you got your vacation time. They pay you pretty good. Why you want to mess that up? See, people will promote you being right where they are. Anybody that has friends and you're the one who has a house, you're the one who that live pretty good and your finances is in order. But you got friends that they don't have all of those things that you have. Even if they don't know that that's how your life is, the energy of being in a circle of those people will bring you right to where they are. That's why association and who you're talking to or who you're dealing with is a big deal. I know you grew up with this person. I know this might be a family member. Shoot, this might even be somebody you're married to. Who knows? I mean, I don't cut my words. I don't discriminate against who's who. Because the biggest issues, the obstacles in our life are the people that are close to us. Those are the ones who come along with you trying to do something, they want to distract you from it. And then when you try to tell them, hey, I'm working on this, they try to guilt trip you. You're always doing that. Well, you got to do this because if this is you trying to make something happen that you want. See, people will drag you into what they want and don't give a damn about what you want. You'll say, yeah, this is what I want to do. They so wrapped up and caught up in what they want. They heard what you said, but it don't mean jack shit. So they on to what they want and trying to drag you along. I'm a minister, I'm ordained and everything, but I use some strong words at times. That what I just said was light work compared to what I can say. See, I ain't that type of minister that I'm gonna be sitting up here trying to use all these pretty words just to impress folks. I'm gonna say keep it real. People don't give a damn about you when you really pay attention. And some of the people in your very house don't give a damn. Trust me. Let that be tested. Let it get tested. You'll see. And some of y'all even know what I'm saying. Y'all clapping in the background talking about he ain't never lie. Y'all know I ain't lying. You'll see. See, you know the truth when those waters get hot. Boiling hot. See, that was the story of Christ, right? Oh, they traveled around him, had the crowds. He was preaching, getting all the recognition that this great teacher was in town, giving out this good word. He's healing, he's feeding. Oh, the apostles loved him. Then they was hanging until it was time to get hung. Until it was time to fill the fire, they were gone. I mean, I'm saying it like in an actual sense, but really that was an allegory. All of those apostles was all of the aspects of the Christ consciousness that had to be worked on and improved so that he can go to the ultimate test of allowing people who he helped to demean him, degrade him, treat him like he wasn't nothing, treat him like he wasn't special, and still not seek retaliation or revenge against them. He remained in his peace. He didn't allow people's actions to change him, to make him evil or do evil things. That was the story of that. So all of these apostles was different aspects of his consciousness that he needed to work on. And once those was all worked on and he went into because if you really pay attention to the story, right? He went into what? A meditation. Then he woke up and the apostles were sleeping, right? That was his work to work on each one of them. Hey, I got to deal with this one, Peter, Paul, whoever. And then once he had mastered them, they all went away. He had mastered them. They're all gone. They didn't say where. And he told them when he was having that Lord's even meal, said, yeah, y'all will scatter. When you realize that whole story was Christ dealing with himself and perfecting his Christ consciousness, and you can see it. But anyway, so here's the book. Lesson 4, no one to change but self. What I tried to tell you was this: we become what we contemplate, for it is the nature of love, as it is the nature of hate, to change us into likeness of that which we contemplate. So basically it's saying we become what we think about. That's why you really got to be careful what you put your mind, attaching your mind to. Take an inventory of the type of things you like to watch, listen to. Take a real inventory. Are these things you're watching and entertaining yourself with, are these things elevating your consciousness to a level of Christ consciousness, or is it bringing you down to the devil consciousness? Which one? You have to personally do that. I did. I was like, okay, what am I listening to? So right now I don't listen to anything rap, because ain't nothing out there worth listening to. So last night I simply read a news item to show you that when we think we can destroy our image by breaking the mirror, we are only fooling ourselves. When through war or revelation, we destroy titles which to us represent arrogance and greed, we become in time the embodiment of that which we thought we had destroyed. So today, the people who thought they destroyed the tyrants are themselves that which they thought they had destroyed. Right? That's a good example. Like, this country was founded on the Declaration of Independence. They fought against the English monarchy of that time to become what we are in America today, right? But if you look at what was going on back then, we're right back where we started from. We're dealing with, even though they call it democratic, republic, whatever, it's a monarchy. It's a small group of people making decisions for everyone else. And a monarchy is what you call the United States government. That entity is controlling everything, telling what you can drive, how you can drive it, what you need, all of these things. You need licenses to do this. You need licenses to go fish in a lake that they didn't even create, but I got to have a license to go do it. Why do I need a license to go fish in a lake that you didn't create? You didn't create that. Great. Men had come around saying you need all of this stuff that they didn't even create. They didn't create water. And now they manufacture their water through all kind of chemicals and give it to you through those water faucets. But none of these things they have the ability to recreate. But you need licenses. Think about that. You go to work, you work hard, and you got to give a portion of that to them. And they do whatever they want with it. They give billions of dollars to other people that has nothing to do with this country, while people here are starving. So you got a single entity controlling everything. So basically, this country has become what they fought against. 1776. When you really play it all out. Do you realize the more what they call freedom they've given, the more imprisoned people have become? Right? We give you the freedom to get one of these, right? You got the freedom. One of these things. And then because the freedom to have this, people get to watch whatever, do whatever they want, say whatever they want. They're so locked into this small, tiny screen that children don't even go outside anymore. Their children are voluntarily imprisoning themselves in their own homes. When I was a kid, they used to threaten us. Hey, you're gonna stay in the house if you don't stay outside. And we were like, oh, we'll stay outside, we'll use the bathroom outside, we do everything. But the only thing, if you couldn't find anywhere to get some water because you've been running around and you need some water, the only thing you would try to go in the house for, get something to drink. If there was nowhere else to get something to drink. Because if there was somewhere else to get something to drink, I grew up in the city, it wasn't places you can go get something to drink. It's the only reason why you go in there. So now, today, because of the devices, kids don't even think about going outside and experiencing what life is like out there. So what happened? Gave us what we call a modern convenience that has become a prison, a computer prison. Because why I call it a prison? Because your mind is locked in on this. Everything on here is where your world exists with this thing. So the more freedoms that is afforded us, the more we decide to imprison ourselves. When through war or revolution we destroy titles which to us represent arrogance and greed, we become in time the embodiment of that which we thought we had destroyed. So today, the people who thought they destroyed the tyrants are themselves that which they thought they had destroyed. So what this is saying, whenever you try to go destroy something external without working on your own consciousness, you eventually become that which you have thought you destroyed. You become that. Instead of placing judgment outside of you, place judgment within you. Look at yourself and change you. And that's how the world really changes and stay changed. When people are accountable to themselves for their actions, they become really accountable. Not some false sense of accountability, because that's what I find. A lot of people, yeah, I'm accountable, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of them ain't really, when you really dig deep, they ain't really accountable. They got some, they done drew up another illusion they created and call that being accountable. That I may not be misunderstood, let me again lay the foundation of this principle. Consciousness is the one and only reality. We are incapable of seeing other than the contents of our own consciousness. That's a fact. You can only see how you see. I can't see how you see. I can only see how I see. And so where the correction or the improvement comes is how I see things and how I react to things. It's all about me, the individual. Therefore, hate betrays us in the hour of victory and condemns us to be that which we condemn. All conquest results in an exchange of characteristics, so that conquerors become like the conquered foe. So now you understand why Christ didn't retaliate. Because to retaliate, you become like those who you have just condemned. He allowed them to live it out. And eventually, I'm sure some of those people became convicted at by their actions. It's like, man, we would literally destroy the man who was helping us. Because once he was gone, who was there to help? The apostles, on a material sense, the apostles was left behind. But then they started to see, wait a minute, this is the only man that was doing something or made a change or helped me to see where my true divinity is. We hate others for the evil which is in ourselves. Races, nations, and religious groups have lived for centuries in intimate hostility, and it is the nature of hatred, as it is the nature of love, to change us like the likeness of what which we contemplate. So basically, the message here is that you need to love and not hate. Because whatever you contemplate on, that's what you become. Plus, whatever you contemplate on, that's what you draw in. So if for some reason people are attracted to you that are not treating you well, maybe you don't treat yourself well. That's something I won't even say maybe. There's a strong truth to that maybe you don't think well of yourself when you have encountered so many people that have done you wrong. How do you view yourself? What kind of love are you showing yourself? See, little side point, most people look for love and like and appreciation through other people. And I could tell you that is not going to do it. It's not going to fulfill you. It's temporary. And then when you really look at it, when you seek fulfillment in those ways, it seems like it's doing something for you in the moment. But as soon as that moment is gone, you're right back where you started from. And most of the times you're right worse off than you was in the first place. Because now you've included this other person into your space. They got demons they're dealing with, and you brought all of those demons, your demons along with their demons, all combined. That's why you have to take time for yourself and purge out and make a change, because now your pure spirit will attract pure spirits, people who have done the work, or at least making an effort to do the work. Really genuinely doing the work. Most people do not genuinely want to do this work. They are okay with distracting themselves with watching TV and going someplace, being out there in the world. They're okay with that because why they want those things is because that in those places, they don't have to deal with the truth about themselves. They don't have to face that because they could put on a play. They could put on a persona in front of all of these people and make people think they're someone they're not. And let me touch on that. Anyone that is putting on a persona for other people being fake is what we call it today. Not being genuine. You're not fooling those people because people can see through fakeness quick, especially people who are not fake. They can see through it. They just don't tell you about it. They just don't check you on it because most people who are doing the work, they'll say that person eventually see it, or maybe not. They don't spend time trying to make people, hey, you're being fake. They don't call it out. They don't need to. And then in somewhere in the consciousness, even the person that's not being genuine knows that people are not buying into it to some degree. But back to what I was saying, they spend time with all of these other activities instead of the one main activity: self-reflection, self-accountability, that activity. Because why? Because that activity requires solitude, requires you to go into a secret place or a quiet space and just spend time with your thoughts and genuinely get at the truth of your existence. See, this existence is a proving ground. It's a proving ground of who is going to really want to see through the veil and the illusions of this world and get to the truth of their true existence? That's me. I really want to know the truth. And when I asked that truth so many years ago, and when I got it, ooh, man, oh man, it was a hard thing to face. Like when I was telling you, and I was starting to read all these different books, that was mentally. And when you think about it, it's all mind work, because it was a mental thing. I had believed so many things and was warned about so many things, so many, from my childhood, that I was about to go into a world of information that I never was interested in learning because someone told me it would harm me. And then just think about that the thoughts that were running through my mind after being indoctrinated into a certain belief for so many years, and then trying to go into these new schools of thoughts and figure them out. It wasn't a physical work. It was no one forcing me. It was my own mind plaguing me, because based on my previous life of information, I was genuinely like, oh, wow. Oh. And when you really look at every problem you're dealing with right now, it's all mind. It's nothing physical about it. And once you understand and isolate that that's what it is, and that it's your mind, meaning because it's your mind, you can control how you see and manipulate your existence around you just by the way you think. It's not just some happenstance that all of these things are happening to you just out of the blue. It's all based off the original thoughts of what you're thinking about and what you hold on to dominantly in your mind throughout the day. That feeling of no one cares, that may be true, but so what? You don't need them to care. So what they don't care? So what people don't make you feel a certain way? So, but no why? Because it ain't their job. It's your job to care about you and your mind. It's our job, my job, to deal with that. So we get into relationships, and because a person doesn't give you a certain feeling, you getting mad at them. Why? Get mad at yourself. Why you can't do it for yourself? You want somebody to do for you that you can't even do for yourself. Akeem, no, that's not true. Then why is it you're upset because this person don't make you feel a certain way? Simple. You don't know how to make yourself feel that way. So you're looking for somebody to do something you can't even provide yourself. Man, I know. This is the end of the year. This is real self-reflection. That's how I check myself. Well, this person ain't got to make me. They wasn't put on this earth to make me feel any type of way. First of all, I invited them into my life. It was my choice. So who am I to place that type of responsibility on someone else to make me do all of these things? And then find them at fault. No, it's my fault. I invited them in with this expectation that they was going to do all this stuff, and now they ain't living up to my idea of what they should do. I'm upset now. Who's the crazy one? Who's the one with the real problem? It ain't them, it's you. They got problems of their own. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying we're talking about numero uno. People getting up and leaving relationships simply because I don't feel the same way. So who changed their mind? You did. It ain't their fault. You changed your idea of what you thought about that person and who they are. You changed your mind, not them. It ain't them. He ain't the woman. She ain't the woman. She ain't the woman. He ain't the woman I thought they was. And all this other stuff. They always was who they were. And was and will be. Until they see a reason to change. And you will always be who you are, will be, until you decide to change. and hope those changes will keep the line of communications open where, hey, so just, what, things are not the same, because things ain't supposed to stay the same. Tell me something in life that the only thing that stays the same in this world is change. That's the only consistent thing, that things change. I don't look like I was when I was 1 year old, okay? I don't talk like I did when I was 5 years old. We change. But yet we get with people and expect them to not change. The joke's on our own perceptions. Why we getting upset at people for changing, like, maybe, yeah, they gonna change it. See, if you go into a relationship and say, things are gonna change. Now, the thing is, how do we deal with these changes? How do we still remain together and deal with the changes? How do we readjust to change? You don't make me feel like you did 20 years ago. Well, 20 years, I'm a different person 20 years. I got different things. I've experienced things. So yeah. Now, how do we continue to feel good? See, if we come with the mindset that we will appreciate change and be joyful about the change, I think relationships will go a lot easier. If you just start there, like, hey, things gonna change. Let's just make sure we have fun with the change. If you could do that, people don't look or weigh the same as when you first meet them. Especially if you're a good cook and you cook them and they eating. You don't get mad because they put on that weight. You giving them all that food. Anyway, let me change. I don't even want to touch on the weight thing because that's a sensitive topic for people. Nations act toward other nations as their own citizens act towards each other. When slavery exists in a state and that nation attacks another, it is with intent to enslave. When there is a fierce economic competition between citizen and citizen, then in war with another nation, the object of war is to destroy the trade of the enemy. See, in our educational system, it's all about taking tests and who can do better, who's at the top. So you living in a system where competition is at the very core of its existence from when you first enter school. This is why we have the issue. Everybody wants to beat everybody. You're teaching everybody to compete, and this is why we have conflict. And it filters into everything. This is why you have the female and male, men against women topics now. Because it's being promoted that one is better than one is more educated. They come out with these people are more educated than this, and they're more likely. You listen to all of these things that are coming from other people's consciousness, and we embody that as truth, and it affects our existence. And this is why we think that people need to change and not ourselves individually need to change. That person is that way because they don't have a degree. Like, that's what people are saying. Most of the people that voted for Trump were uneducated people. This is the reason why he won. And I'm like, that's a very uneducated response. Because, first of all, when you understand how the election process works, there's electors choose who they want for president. And that election hasn't even taken place yet. So, those responses is based on limited information that people take as a fact and then promote that onto other people's consciousness. There's an assault on your consciousness on a daily basis to get you to believe something. That's why it's important for you to know the truth. Wars of domination are brought about by the will of those who within a state are dominant over the fortunes of the rest. We radiate the world that surrounds us by the intensity of our imagination and feeling. And just that's true, because even in just on a micro level, which within relationships, we're radiating what we believe should be true or things should happen onto the other person. And when that person doesn't meet that thought process that you have, now you're unhappy. So did this person really make you unhappy, or did you choose to make yourself unhappy because you didn't get what you wanted or expected of them? See, it's our expectations that bring us disappointment, not the actual people. Our expectations that are not being met, the things we create as truth. Instead of allowing and accepting people as they are, who they are. Because once you allow and accept people as they are, who they are, then you at that point choose, well, do I want to allow this person into my space or not? But if we go into a situation, well, I don't like that about a person, but I think over time I can make that better. No, you can't. It just gets worse. So at that point, once you start seeing things that you feel like within your space you don't want, you need to make a decision whether you want that or not. And instead of thinking that somewhere down the line, you can change or manipulate something into being better. And that goes back to when I opened up with, I see people bigger than, they give me ideas. That was my fault. I expected them to, they told me they wanted all this, and then I try to help them, and they don't do nothing with it. I'm like, they okay with it. They just talking. That's what I just hear now. To me, it's just words people say because they like feeling like victims in their lives and blaming something for why they where they are. They generally don't want a what do you call a change to that situation. They just want to talk about it, and that's what I do now. I don't go into those things no more. I mind my business. I learned. Yeah, I know that they're capable of doing it, but they don't know it. They don't feel it. Until they feel it and ready to do something about it, then they'll change. And if they come to me and say they want my assistance, my first opening statement is, do you really want my assistance, or is this just something we're talking about? I'm a vet that 100%. Because I'm not investing time in people just talking. Because I'll lay it on the line. A person like me is going to help you. I'm going to be holding you accountable. I'm going to say things. I'm going to call things out. Now, if you're not ready to hear me speak what I believe to be the truth, then you might not want me to be the person that's going to help you. Or you might want to find somebody that's going to tickle your ear. I don't tickle ears. It's just the way it is. Because I remember when I was out there trying to, just motivate, people get offended. I'll do it. Why'd you keep talking about that? Well, because you said just what you wanted. Then they make me feel bad because I'm trying to. No one can make you feel bad. They say things that get you to start thinking, well, what did I do wrong? I was just trying to. No, what I did wrong was I interfered with someone's consciousness. I meddled. They were just talking. It wasn't serious. They wasn't ready to act. See, seriousness about a change means you will do something to make the change. You won't just talk about it. You understand? You ain't gonna just procrastinate. See, unfortunately, we as people typically only make changes when there's a life or death situation on the line, or something very drastic is about to happen. That's when people want to, I need to do something about this. Like, for instance, they're talking about, they've been talking about food shortages for years. Ever since I was little, food shortage. And for some reason, I never experienced food shortage. I experienced money shortage, so I couldn't buy food. But that's possible, right? It is possible, so you prepare. You think about it, the average person is not really prepared for a big society collapse. Although history shows that societies collapse. The empire that was running things thousands of years ago is not running things now. So it's a matter of time before this current system of things will shut down. I mean, because no empire or country has lasted more than 1,000 years. History has shown that. Now, that's one prediction in the Bible that's pretty much been true. So you look at how old this country is, and so that means every day that this country is standing and it is still in existence is a gift. Because at any time, anything could break, and we could be like some of these countries we hear about, where their money doesn't mean anything. So how do you prepare for that? See, most people don't. They know that that's possible, but because they rather entertain themselves and entertain themselves away from that possibility, they don't prepare. And so the people that do prepare, those are people who become the burden on the people that did prepare. That's just a word I'm just putting out there. You know, and I'm putting it out there, and I'm not trying to preach any gloom or doom. I say right now it just feels like we're in the calm before the storm. Stock market's looking good. Crypto is looking extremely good. Those of you who invested in some crypto, y'all doing good right now. Those things, those seeds you planted many years ago that we talked about, I mentioned on the air, you should be living, doing very well right now. But we all know how this world is. So are you prepared? That's just something to think about. Oh, wow. It's 11:05. I've been yapping. I ain't even get through 2 pages. I guess I'll finish this next week. There was so many side thoughts coming up just reading that. Anyway. Oh, yeah. I'm having a webinar on the 2nd of December. I think that's Monday, December the 2nd. I'm not sure. I think that's the date. And it's about putting the house in the trust. I'm creating a new template for that. I know I had one in the membership, a new template to make it a little more simplistic. And creating a template for how to do your deed when you take it down to the county. So that's December the 2nd. Those of you who are in my membership, the pricing is discounted. I just haven't put the link in there yet. I will put the link in today. It's discounted to $97. That will include the recording, the template on how to do that. It's very important. I think at this juncture, just to let you know, how I work is through inspiration. And right now, I'm really inspired about encouraging people to put these homes in trust, because I feel like, I know that eventually something is going to happen and you're going to need that. So it's lawful. You could do it. It's time to do it. Put it in the trust. I got some new tools at my disposal where it makes it real easy to do it. So I feel I'll share it with you guys. So I'll put the link in for my members so that y'all can get that $97 price opposed to the $147 price. Like I said, it come with the recording and the templates. I think there's 3 different templates I wanted to give with that. I have to go back and actually it's right here. Let me see what I got here. It comes with, I put in, I thought I put it on my website. I gotta go back. Well, I sent the link out the other day, and it had everything that it was gonna come with in that email. So whatever. Look, it was one more thing I can't think about. Oh, the actual trust. template for the trust, a template for the deed, and a template for the letter you would send the mortgage company. And there is one template I put in the membership, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to make it less complicated. All right. So December the 2nd, 2024, I believe that's the date that I put down. And that's it. All right. It's 11:08. I'm going to let you guys get on with the rest of your day and enjoy the rest of your day. Hey, I will have a show tomorrow and Tuesday. I didn't have one last week. I took last week as a week of reflection for myself. And sometimes I got to recharge. So tomorrow is a show. Tuesday is a show. And after that, y'all guys, enjoy your holiday with your family. Just think about it. Stuff you know, they don't know. And sometimes they don't want to know. Just go there, enjoy the food, enjoy the company of your family, and entertain yourselves. Don't spend your time trying to change people's consciousness unless they invite you in. Okay? You only save the world by saving yourself. And with that being said, peace, prosperity, extreme wealth to everyone. Have a good rest of your day and a good holiday. Peace. Sometimes we want things to happen and we keep worrying, is it going to happen? It's going to happen. Do you know you're holding it back just by seeing in your mind that it's not there yet? So you're going to get more not there yet, meaning you must already be living the experience or feeling the experience of which you desire. You must have that. That must be already in you, ready. So when it does show up in the physical, you're just making a connection to what you already manifested in your thoughts. You see, the physical is lagged out, meaning it's got lag. Everything that you're experiencing, what you're doing right now, it comes from the ideas of your mind, and you're experiencing those thoughts. You send forth these desires, these thoughts.